Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Mama Idris bin Smali. I'm a student of UiTM Kota Samarkand, Bachelor Degree of Quantity Surveying. The purpose of this video is to understand better of life cycle costing through the calculation that will be aided through a past year question, January 2018 of BQS656 Construction Economics 4. Without further ado, let's begin. We will now begin with the discussion of the question. The questions can be referred in past year question January 2018, question 1 of BQS656 Construction Economics 4. A developer of a high-end housing project is considering several electrical supply systems for the housing scheme of 200 houses with the average gross floor area of 150 meters square. Beside the normal electrical supply, the company is also interested to invest in renewable energy source such as solar power. The alternatives given can be divided into three, which is alternative A, B, and C. Alternative A is a normal electrical supply system to individual houses. Alternative B is a centralized solar system distributed to individual house. And alternative C, a combination of both systems. The image on the right shows the table of the costs included for the installation of the M&E for alternative A, alternative B, and alternative C. For alternative A, the capital cost of electrical mains is 300,000 ringgit. Installation cost per house is 3,000 ringgit. Renewal cost every 30 years per house is 2,000 ringgit. The running cost per house per year is 1,000 ringgit. For alternative B, the capital cost of the solar main is 450,000 ringgit. Installation cost per house is 4,000 ringgit. Modernization of installation after 40 years per house is 1,500 ringgit. And the running cost per house per year is 850 ringgit. For alternative C, installation cost of electrical per house per meter square GFA is 10 ringgit. Installation cost of solar per house per meter square GFA is 12 ringgit. Modernization of installation after 30 years per house is 1,700 ringgit. Running cost per house per year is 950 ringgit. The detail will be known in the calculation throughout this slide. Now, it's time to understand the objectives of the question. What is it that they really want? All houses must be provided with electrical and solar energy supply, and the electrical authority has agreed to lay the electrical mains free of charge if alternative A is chosen, and the energy development to lay the solar mains free of charge if alternative B is chosen. If alternative C is chosen, 50% discount is given on capital cost of both mains. Calculate and compare the total cost and cost per house for the installation, repair, and running of the alternative over a 60-year life at 8.5% interest. Advise the developer. It is understood a comparison of all three alternatives on the life cycle costing must be made in order to advise the client on which alternative shall best be chosen. Before we get into the calculation, the outline of the calculation must be laid. So the outline of the calculation will include the capital cost, the installation cost, modernization of installation, the running cost, and the additional conditions, which will be the overall cost as well as cost per houses. To begin, the capital cost. The capital cost for alternative A is 300,000 ringgit, and for alternative B is 450,000 ringgit, and for alternative C is 375,000 ringgit. For alternative A and B, these capital costs has been stated in the table provided on the cost related that is provided in the question. For alternative C, it is basically the addition of 50% of alternative A and B, whereby 50% of alternative A is 150,000 ringgit and the 50% of alternative B is 225,000 ringgit. Therefore, when you add them together, you will get 375,000 ringgit. Moving on, the installation cost. The installation cost for alternative A is 600,000 ringgit. Alternative B is 800,000 ringgit and alternative C is 660,000 ringgit. The calculation for such installation cost for alternative A and B is based on the cost per house multiplied by the number of houses, which is 200 houses. For alternative A, the cost per house is 3,000 ringgit multiplied by 200 houses to get the installation cost of 600,000 ringgit. Alternative B, the cost per house is 4,000 ringgit multiplied by 200 houses to obtain a total cost of 800,000 ringgit. For alternative C, it uses cost per house per meter square multiplied by the number of houses due to the fact that the question did not provide the exact amount for the cost per house for alternative C. Alternative C has two installations, which is the electrical and the solar. The question has provided the installation cost of electrical and solar per house per meter square GFA, which is 10 and 12 respectively. For electrical, 10 multiplied by the 150 meter square, which is the average gross floor area of the house multiplied by 200 houses to obtain 300,000 ringgit. For solar, 12 multiplied by 150 meters square multiplied by 200 houses to get 360,000 ringgit. You add them both together to get a total installation cost for alternative C of 660,000 ringgit. For the modernization of installation costs, alternative A is 34,600 ringgit, alternative B is 11,490 ringgit, and alternative C is 29,410 ringgit. The calculation for this part utilizes the use of present value table. In this case, the present value of 1 is used to calculate the modernization of installation costs. The renewal cost period for alternative A is 30 years per house at 2,000 ringgit. The interest rate set in this question is 8.5%. Therefore, according to the present value of 1 table, at year 30 it's set as 0.0865. The calculation for the modernization of installation or renewal cost is 0.0865 multiplied by the cost 2,000 ringgit, and the number of houses 200 house will equal to 34,600 ringgit for alternative A. Similar for alternative B and C, but for alternative B, the modernization of installation cost is at 40 years, 8.5% as well, which will set a 0.0383 instead. 0.0383 multiplied by the cost per house, 1,500 ringgit multiplied by 200 house will obtain 11,490 ringgit for alternative B. Finally, for alternative C, similar PV of 1 at 30 years at 8.5%, just like the alternative A, which leads to a calculation of 0.0865 multiplied by 1,700 ringgit cost per house multiplied by 200 houses, which equals to 29,410 ringgit. The running cost. For alternative A, the running cost is 2,335,320 ringgit. Alternative B, 1,985,022. For alternative C, 2,218,554. The calculation for running costs will be referred in the present value of 1 per annum at 60 years at 8.5%, which is 11.6766. So the calculation for running costs is the running cost per house per year multiplied by the PV value of 1 per annum at 60 years at 8.5% multiplied by the number of houses. For alternative A, it is 1,000 ringgit multiplied by 11.6766 multiplied by 200 houses to get 2,335,320 ringgit. Alternative B, 850 ringgit multiplied by 11.6766 multiplied by 200 houses. You will get 1,985,000 ringgit and 22 only. Alternative C, on the other hand, is 950 ringgit 11 multiplied by 11.6766 multiplied by 200 houses, which will lead to 2,218,554 ringgit only. The total cost. The total cost is an add up from the capital costs with the installation costs, as well as the modernization of installation or renewal costs and the running costs in total together. So the total cost for alternative A is 3,269,920 ringgit. Alternative B, 3,246,512 ringgit. And for alternative C, it is 2,907,964 ringgit. The overall cost is the total cost adjusted in accordance to the additional condition that has been set in each alternative if they were chosen. If you look back at the question, the laying of electrical mains will be free of charge, but the laying for solar mains has to be paid. Alternative B is the opposite, where laying solar mains will be free of charge, whereas electrical main has to be paid. Alternative C, on the other hand, still has to pay for laying both electrical and solar mains, but at a discount of 50% for laying electrical and solar mains individually. For alternative A, the total cost of 3,269,920 ringgit will minus 300,000 ringgit less cost of electrical main and addition of 450,000 ringgit for solar mains, which leads to 3,419,920 ringgit for overall cost. The cost per house will be the overall total cost divided by the number of houses, which for alternative A equals to 17,099 ringgit and 60 cents. Next, alternative B, total cost of 3,246,512 ringgit minus solar mains cost of 450,000 ringgit and adding 300,000 ringgit electrical mains will lead to an overall cost of 3,096,512 ringgit. The cost per house is 15,482 and 56 cents only. Finally, for alternative C, 50% discount for both electrical and solar, where 300,000 ringgit and 450,000 ringgit are added together and it is then discounted to 50%, which equals to 375,000 ringgit. The overall cost is 3,282,964 ringgit only after the discounts. The cost per house for alternative C is 16,414 ringgit and 82 cents only. In conclusion, according to the rank from lowest to highest, alternative B is the lowest, followed by alternative C in the middle, and the highest cost is alternative A. Suggestions for the client would be alternative B due to it being relatively cheaper than alternative A and alternative C. The table above in the image shows the comparison between A, B, and C's alternatives. This is all from me. Thank you so much for listening, and I am hoping that you understand the explanation on the LCC question past year for January 2018 for the course BQS656 Construction Economics 4.